There was one stood up.
Oh.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Did,
yeah, I want to know if I could talk now on an agenda item, or if I have to wait for the agenda item.
no, you can talk when the agenda item comes up.
Okay, then we're
Okay, thank you. Let's,
He might not want to wait that long.
we got it. Does he?
Not really.
I don't know what the agenda item is, but, we can talk on it. These are public comments for people, things not on the agenda.
Oh, okay.
Let's go to commission regulation. These are action items. And the first one we're going to go is Commission General Regulation number 383, LCB file number R005-10. Are you ready for a second reading?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Okay, for the record, Rob Buonamici, Chief Game Warden. CGR 383 pertains to wildlife overpasses and hunting within half mile of the wildlife overpasses. If there's any additional questions regarding that, I'd be glad to answer.
Did you, you know, we talked about it yesterday on number 3, and where it says facilitate the safe passage of wildlife across highway. Did we say on public land, or we don't need that in there?
That's up to you. I don't believe we need that, but
You don't think we need that?
that's a commission decision, obviously.
Well, it's up to, if you don't think we need it, then. Does anybody have any? Commissioner Cavan?
It really didn't come up yesterday, but I was just wondering if everybody's comfortable with half a mile, if we think that's actually enough. And the other question I had that maybe we want to have some dialogue on is, you know, we've got the road's going to be fenced for X number of miles either side of these things too, so basically the deer are going to stack up against the fence and then move to the overpasses or the undercrossings. So I was just wondering about the issue of, you know, these deer collecting against the fences and that sort of thing. I've witnessed it in California on 395 in front by Reno, especially in the spring. They'll stack up there because they have to find the right draw to go down and find the overpass, in this case underpasses. So the issue may be a little bigger than what we have here, but I think we need to at least get this in place, but maybe it's going to evolve some in the future as we see how these things work. But I don't know if anybody has any ideas or has seen any of that happen in other areas, but I'd be interested in hearing that if anybody has.
You heard anything on that, Rob?
My concern, quite honestly, with that is when you give it a mile, within a mile, we're basically looking at a, you know, circumference of half-mile, radius of a half-mile, and then we start potentially getting into issues like Commissioner Rain brought up yesterday with private lands and so forth, when you extend it further. So we're comfortable with trying the half-mile. If we see a need for a change, you know, we'll be back, but it takes some wordsmithing on the language. I wouldn't be comfortable with just saying a mile radius, and because that puts you out a mile off the highway, which is quite a distance in some cases in relationship to, you know, where private property may or may not start and begin, all that. So I just see some potential issues with that.
It probably is a good start, and if we need to modify it, if there's a problem, we can do it later, another time, can't we?
Correct.
Yeah, it's going to be dynamic. We're going to be able to see what happens.
We only have, what, one of these so far. We're going to have other ones. We'll see how they work as we get more of them built, right?
There's going to be 3 by this fall.
Those other 3 built, and then I think they're gonna do a real wide one over Interstate 80 before Wendover, because that's a big, they were talking about it, but that's a big migration there, over Interstate 80, but see how these work.
Yeah, and Commissioner Cavan's, right, deer will butt up against the fence, and then, obviously they have to parallel the fence to find the underpass or overpass. But the closer you get to that overpass, the bigger the concentration of deer in general.
Okay, well, that sounds good. Thank you, Rob. I'm going to open up public comments, see if anyone in the public has any comments on this proposed regulation.
We had 2 cards, Paul Dixon, Rick Smith, that both mentioned item 16.
Rick Smith, Washoe Cab. My only comment was our cab voted to support this. We discussed it yesterday. Want to make sure in the regulation that the underpass or overpass is posted for the public, so they're aware that there is this half-mile no hunting. And then just a quick comment on yours, Commissioner Cavan. I think the fence is close enough to the road that if they stack up along there, that there's already regulation about shooting close enough to the road that should take care of that. So I don't know that
Unless they're on the other side of the fence. The hunter.
Yeah, but still, so.
We'll see. I mean,
Washoe Cab supports it.
Thank you. Any other, hearing no public comment, I'll close the public comment on this, bring it back to the commission. What's your pleasure on this? Commissioner Rain.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I definitely like to support this as it is. The only thing is, once again, about this private property, and I say this does not necessarily affect any of the ones that are currently in place. Perhaps the private property issue, very well, the best way to resolve it is probably, as was stated yesterday by Mr. Buonamici, in that before they are placed, or any placement of these in the future, that the rights of private property, of private individuals be taken into account, and if there is not complete cooperation and agreement with them to place one of these within a half-mile of their property, just plain don't do it if we cannot get the cooperation of private landowners. Because otherwise, we're going to essentially have to exempt them, because we're going to be taking away rights that they would otherwise have, and I'd worry about that. And I don't know that this is necessarily a place to put in an exemption. So, I'd like to throw that out there, because I don't think the intent of wildlife overpasses is to take away the rights of property owners, and we should follow that up.
Correct. It is not the intent to jeopardize any personal property rights, private property rights. And like I stated yesterday, we just can't go build these, where we decide, okay, we're going to put one here and it automatically goes in. We are going to have to deal with any property owners and so forth, anything that's outside the right-of-way. So that's built into the process. We just can't go out there and start building fence or impacting private landowners without, consulting with them.
NDOT doesn't just go build these without consulting you, right?
No.
Right.
It's a team effort.
Right. So,
I'd have to defer that to Larry Gilbertson.
Rob, and the concern of the signs, the posting of the signs, that doesn't have to be in the regulation. You're just going to do it, right?
Correct.
So we don't have to put that in there.
There will be signs. We already designed the signs.
Okay, so that concern's taken care of, and so, Commissioner Macbeth?
Thank you, Chairman Lynn. I apologize for not looking this up myself and also not raising it yesterday, but could you go over what the exemptions are? It says except as otherwise provided in subsection 2 and NRS 202, 287, 503, 010, and 503, 175.
I'd have to grab my regulation book real quick.
Okay.
Those are NRS. You want me to look them up?
I've got it here, if you need one.
Yep.
I believe 503-175 is a loaded firearm shooting from across the road.
Yeah, 202-287 is discharge of firearm from or within structure or vehicle.
Yeah, 503-175 is penalty for discharging firearm from or over federal or state highway or county road. And 503-010 is the manner of hunting or trapping, hunting from a vehicle is what we're addressing there.
So how do those exceptions, I'm not sure how,
These are basically you can't discharge a firearm from or across the road. This regulation is
Yes.
not impacting addressing that issue.
Yeah, see, 287 makes that, let's see. Well.
Oh, okay, so what
it's a
you're saying is
misdemeanor in
that-
some places it's a category
This
B
doesn't
felony.
change those.
This does not affect the existing laws that are on the books
I see.
with regards to firearm.
So if the half mile, if you're beyond a half mile,
If you're
and
beyond,
these regulations are in place, you still
Correct.
gotta comply with this guy?
Right.
Okay.
and 503-010, you can't drive your vehicle down the highway and shoot out the window and things like that, irrespective of this NAC.
Anybody have any other questions? If not, what's your pleasure? Commissioner Cap.
I'd move to approve LCB file R005-10, regulation relating to wildlife, prohibiting person from hunting or taking big game, mammal, or discharging a firearm within a certain distance of highway crossing and providing other matters properly relating hereto.
We just need the number. As proposed by the department.
As written.
We have a motion to approve CGR number 383, LCB file R005-10 in a second. Anybody have any questions on it? If not, I'll call for the vote. All for the motion say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you, Rob. Next item on the